Greetings traders, this is Houston Trong from thetradingedge.org, and here is your weekly market outlook for September the 28th to October the 2nd, 2020. And before I launch into our regular scheduled programming, just a quick announcement. So if you've been tuning into these videos, I've been doing these weekly videos week in, week out now for the past about year and a half. It's been about 18 months. And over that time, you've seen me navigate the ups and downs of the markets, and for the most part, over that time, I think we've done a pretty good job at staying on the right side of price. So if you know, of course, you know we've been wrong here and there, but for the most part, our methodology has served us pretty well. And that was really the whole point of this series. You know, the purpose of these videos has always been about one trader, myself, sharing his perspectives to help you and inform you of different perspectives and to perhaps improve your own trading. So that being said, I think, you know, these videos, I've shared what I wanted to share. For the past 18 months, I've shared a lot of my ideas and how I frame the markets. And so I've decided to take a bit of a hiatus from these videos. So I'm going to take a bit of a break from these videos. Not saying I won't do any more of them in the future, but for now, I'm going to take a bit of a break, get recharged a bit, and perhaps spend that time working on other projects. So it's not a goodbye. It's kind of a a pause for now, and we may pick things back up again as the markets get more volatile and get more interesting in Q4. But for now, if you're interested in what I do, head over to tradingedge.org. You can I'll try to drop some articles and videos there with some frequency. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed the series, and again, thanks for the time. Thanks for all the time that you've spent with me over the past 18 months. So with that out of the way, let's launch into our regularly scheduled programming. We'll talk about the Econ Calendar next, followed by the earnings calendar, and then I'm going to spend a bit of time before we jump into the actual charts about what to look for going into the last trading week of the month of the quarter, and what to look out for when you get to that first day and second week of the quarter, because that's very important. There is some quarterly dressing that happens at the end of each quarter, at the beginning of each quarter, and then you need to watch out carefully as you enter into especially that second week of October. I'll talk more about that when we get to the charts. So let's talk about the Econ Calendar now. The Econ Calendar wise, it is a fairly should be a fairly busy news calendar this coming week. On Tuesday, we got the consumer confidence number at 10 o'clock, one to watch out for. Then on Wednesday, you got the big GDP number. So that one there, certainly possible to be market moving. Although, things have been priced in pretty well. So the GDP number hasn't been anything of a surprise. We know it's bad, and it's been that bad. So it's nothing that big of a surprise unless the Fed decides to change the language around things. Hawkish or dovish, we need to pay attention to that. And then on Thursday, we got the jobs claims number. Again, Thursday continues to be that weekly spot on the trading calendar that continues to be quite volatile. This Thursday was no exception. It was a very volatile day, and if you caught the right side of it, it was a very good bottoming process there. And then on Friday, on the 2nd of October, we got the monthly employment situation report. That will be an important one to watch. That again should lead to some volatility. On the earnings front, not a lot this week, so wind down this a bit this week. So on Monday, you got the WB, Chinese EDR name. The Chinese names have not been doing so well as of late, so it'll be interesting to see what happens on this one. So watch WB. Then on Tuesday, we got Micron, MU. That has been an interesting one to watch because it's been selling off on the past couple days, though. Thursday, Friday, we had a bit of strength in Micron. Now, actually, no, we had a bit of strength on Thursday. They sold it off on Friday, then they picked it up again when the markets rallied broadly. But what happens to Micron into earnings and after earnings? Wednesday, very quiet day. Nothing much to say there. Maybe a gold name that might be interesting, NG, Nova Gold. And then Thursday we got I'll be looking at Bed Bath & Beyond, BBY, and then nothing really reporting on Friday. So that's it for the earnings calendar. Let's launch into the charts now, and then we do as we always do. And let's go to, as we always do with our VIX chart first, and then we'll launch into the SPY, and then we'll have that conversation about what to look for going into the first trading day of the quarter, and then the second trading week of the quarter. So VIX, well, again, because this is going to be the last video I do in a while, I'm going to give you the really high time frame stuff. And if you've been part of this series, and this is where we usually start, because a lot of people don't do this. They don't do this work, and that means they're they're oftentimes surprised when these things exert themselves because they don't see what we're seeing, because we're taking the time to actually peel back, take a step back, and look at the broader picture. And so if you're wondering why the market's not going down any further, and you're wondering why VIX has been going down even though it gets pops to the upside, it's because this chart is still playing itself out. This large chart, this 3-month VIX chart, it's still going outside, inside, and down. This pattern has not reversed itself yet. We had a small blip up this week, and it was certainly tricky, and I'll talk more about that in a few moments. But this broader chart here, there's a part of you that has to say when you see this pattern, that has to have the understanding in place that on the longer time frame, it's still bearish for the VIX, even though you might have inter-week moves. So this pattern has not been extinguished yet. You still got this outside, inside, and down on this time scale, 3-month. So what that's done basically the past week or so, 2 weeks, is that we had a pop up that retested that red level. That's that prior inside quarters high, and it came back in. This past week it popped up again, could not hold it again. That's like 2 weeks now where it pops up and cannot hold above, and it didn't even touch the monthly level this past week. It was just the weekly level. Actually, it did hit the monthly level, but it could not hold above there. And so there you go. So it hits there, and now it's still, we had a moment down situation here. It popped back up. It's still a red month, right? So this right now, if we close off today, today's a Saturday, but let's say this is the end of the month right now, right? We still got a few days left in the month. We still got how many days left? 3. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah. If we would close out this month right now, this looks like a shooting star, right? So that's a shooting star, and if the month of October breaks below that low there, again, this is not done yet this month, but I'm just, I'm giving you how I would analyze it next week. When we close out like this, and then the coming week it breaks below that, right? That would be a reversal to the downside, and then you could expect this thing to continue back down to that outside bar low on the 3-month chart. So that's basically what's happening here. That in the big picture, this move up will just be a blip if next month, the month of October, it breaks below there, right? And then people will forget that it was an actual up month at one point. People will forget that fact, and they'll just be coming back to the range again. So for now, that's what to look for going into the month of October. We still got 3 trading days left. What do they do with it? 3 trading days left in September, and then the first 2 trading days of October this coming week. So this past week, up week, right? You can see just hit that orange line there. That orange line is the weekly open. The monthly open. Hit there, tapped it literally. I guess that stopped it. It had dead its tracks. I was watching it. I thought it was going to go higher at some point, but I'll show you what I was looking at in a few moments here. But that held. The sellers came in, not the first time. They hit that area, and then they sold it back, and basically closed the week slightly up, but not far from where it opened. So it opened at 25.40. Closed at 25.54. So all the shenanigans that happened, during the week, basically left with a flat week. And again, doji, right? So kind of indecision. And all it takes now for this coming week for the bears to again step in is to take out that low. So the low is 25.05. You break below that, that's going to be another reversal back to the downside again. Remember, we're still looking for this area to get taken out. This line here is this low right here, 23.64. Remember 2 weeks ago I said it came so close right there, came to 23.67. So that could just be a pop. They break below there, and then they take out that 64 area down here, 23.64. Because it's still this, even with this little pop up here, it's still in this wider pattern. That's a Momo up reversal. Expect that low to get taken out. That's the path of least resistance. The buyers tried this week. The hits moving averages to the downside as well, and now you break without low, it's come back down. Right. So on the 2-day chart, here's the interesting move here. So let's do this chart first, and then we'll do the a lower time frame chart. So if you look at this, right? So this is what we had going into the coming week. We had a double outside bar. This means there's going to be volatility. When you have double outside bars, that means the game is being, I said it before, right? The game has been reset twice across 4 trading sessions, because these are 2-day bars. So across 4 trading sessions, you had, the outside bars, and that resets the game. So whoever wins this range here, breaks the range, they're going to be in control. So the buyers, they basically stopped out all the shorts that were, had their stops anywhere in this area, took it to the upside. problem is that they hit that monthly open right to the T, and they faded them right away. So they ran a juice. Now this, I've explained this many times, but it's always worth seeing first in your head, and then then you can draw it, or whatever is more convenient for you. Maybe draw it first, but eventually you can internalize it where you don't have to draw it anymore. But I draw it just so that it helps visualize it in case you're having a hard time seeing it. Double outside is basically a broadening formation, right? So this is a formation that looks like this. Okay, so you tie this, you tie a line here, you draw you anchor it to a higher lower high. You take the lower low, you anchor it to a higher low. Okay, so that's a broadening formation, and you're walking up that broadening formation this week. At no point could you hold above it. So I'll show you what I mean by that now. I'll jump to a lower time frame chart. Boom, and there's the broadening formation that we talked about. All right, now this is your Monday, tight stuff. It's inside the broadening formation. See it tapped up here? It cannot stay above that broadening formation, comes back in. Then it spends some time consolidating inside that. Does a triple, so 12 hours worth of inside bar action. That's consolidation. And then on Thursday it opened up. It popped up 5%, and then it looked like it was going to crack the monthly open. It was going to keep going. It looked like that, but again, the clue was you cannot stay above that that brown information. It cracked below right away, and once this happened, once it popped back down there, it was over. That's all she wrote for the week. That's all the buyers had the week. They tested the monthly open. The sellers held their line, held their ground, and then they faded it for the rest of the week. Pretty nice fade, right? Right back into the beginning of the week again. This is what it looks like on the 30-minute chart. All right, so there's your brown information. Okay, so it basically could not hold above it. Here, this is significant here because this is the Bollinger Band walk here and there. Here's a Bollinger Band walk that fails. This is the beginning of the week. Remember that? I talked about how I tried to do it in the beginning of the week. It did a Bollinger Band walk for 1, 2, 3 bars. Once it breaks below there, it fails the Bollinger Band walk, falls back into the middle of the chart again, right back to the weekly open, and then look, tries it again. Bollinger Band walks for several hours. It breaks the low right there, right? So you can see breaks about the one to the open. The sellers come in. You cannot stay above the Bollinger Band walk. And once above the Bollinger Band, once you break below that low there, that's all she wrote, because that high there is not tested again, and then it fades off. And look, boom, to the downside, and touches that weekly open right back in the middle of the range. Right here is a great setup. Outside, inside, and up. So buyers try to buy that. Inside buy reversal right there, and it's gone. The guys who are long here, they get trapped, and then they have to cover to the downside. So that's your broad information on the lower time frames. On the daily, this is what it all played off of going into this week. We knew there was going to be some buyers stepping up because of because we talked about last Friday, so not this past week, but the prior Friday, right here. Remember we identified this? It was the gap reversal. So the gap reversal signal held, and then on the Monday it popped up and stopped everyone in this area. So that is your broad information right there. It's you can already see it. Like once you train your mind, you can see the edges forming. You can see basically on the angle of ascent, the trend line here, and then once it pops up through here, it's going to come out the other side, and then you can see how that thing draws like that, right? And now that I've shown you the 4-hour chart, you know what that looks like in terms of how it's drawn, right? So that's what creates the broad information, and it confuses most people most of the time. So once you get that understanding under your belt, then it's a fundamental way in which the market moves, and it just helps you with your trade location. So that's the wrap for the VIX. Let's talk about the SPY now, basically the mirror opposite, and I'm going to talk about what to watch for going into Q4, the final quarter of the year. So here is the quarterly chart, and here's we got basically 3 trading days left in Q3. So we're still outside, inside, and up. So even though we've pulled back in here again, we basically retested the breakout level here, just like we did with the VIX. That red line there is the breakout area. It popped up and it came back in again. Look at the monthly chart. Oops, sorry. Jump the monthly chart. An outside bar now. Okay, so this is what we need to watch out for going into the month of October. Where does price trade in relation to this range, this outside bar? If you go outside bar down, that's momentum down, right? And that's what we know is what looks like this. That's Momo down, and that can get aggressive very, very fast to the downside. You go Momo up, that's also momentum on the upside. Or because the range is, it's fairly wide, relatively speaking, you could go inside bar. right, and just sit here and consolidate in the month of October. But October is traditionally quite a volatile month, so we expect some fireworks. That's why you want to be ready for those three types of scenarios. Now, on the weekly chart, here's what we got here now, going into the final trading week of the month. Momo down, but we ended the week green. So Momo down, we ended the week green because we had a gap reversal happen on Thursday. Friday was a continuation of that gap reversal, if you understood that. Now, going to the month of October, here's what you got to see, right? So this weekly chart here, the next chart, the next bar, I mean, you want to see, can price break above this high here, and that'll create the Momo down reversal long signal, right? It's Momo down, gets extinguished, it pops back up here, and they'll go after that pivot there. This coming week, right? You're gonna have a new month on the third day of the third day of the month, third day this week, and that'll be the first day of October. So it's gonna, wherever price is gonna be here, wherever you open up on the first, on Thursday, that's gonna move this orange line down wherever it is here, right? So right now the monthly opens here, but October, this line here is gonna be down here. Now you want to see where price, right? This would also be the quarterly open. So that quarterly open level is down here right now. The monthly opens up here. So wherever price opens up on Thursday, that'll be interesting, because then you want to see what's the relationship between where price is trading versus that monthly and quarterly level and that weekly open. So wherever the market opens on Monday, so that's going to be, let's say it opens up right here, right? Does price transact above that weekly open or below it? Then on Thursday, Friday, is price trading below that weekly open, and what's it doing in comparison to that monthly and quarterly open? Because if you get everything trading above those levels, so you get the weekly open here, let's pretend it's all here, okay? And you got price now sitting here, that's full time frame alignment, right? That means everything is to the upside. The quarter looks green, the month looks green, and the week looks green. So at this point here, that pivot becomes very, very easy to take out, right? So again, you can imagine an alternative scenario where you don't have that price alignment, right? Let's say you have the week down here, you get a green week, but all of a sudden it pops up here intra-week, and all of a sudden on Thursday, Friday, it sell it off because, let's say, a bad jobless claims number or bad employment number. And all of a sudden you're back down here again. Now you got a green week, but you got a red month and a red quarter. That's going to be choppy, right? That's going to be it's going to be mixed time frames, and we know that what that creates. It creates chop. So if that scenario happens, then you want to again watch out for the following week. So the following week, again, the second trading week of October, right? That's when things have to reconfirm again, because that's when you're going to have a new weekly open, and you want to see where that translates in respect to that week, that monthly and quarterly open, right? So these lines here, the blue and the orange lines, will be together. They'll be in the same spot, right, for the first month. Then you want to see where is this that weekly level. I don't have it in this chart because it's the weekly chart, where it opens up and where it trades in relation to those three time frames: week, month, quarter. So I hope that helps, guys. Those are the ways that I'd be thinking of framing up price. All right, so that's our discussion of what to look for the first couple weeks of October, or the last trading week of September, first couple weeks of October. Now, SPY now, this is what kind of the big picture here. We'll stick with the big picture this week because it's the last one I'll be doing for a while. We're still Momo down on SPY. Okay, so inside, outside, and Momo down. We had a good 1, 2, 3 lower lows there, but on Thursday, Friday, we did pop up. Okay, so now all you need to do is take out that pivot high there on Monday to create the inside bar reversal, which will take out the prior week's high. Okay, that creates the Momo down reversal we just talked about. So we get this inside bar reversal. If it works, if this inside bar reversal works to the upside on Monday, Tuesday, yeah, that's going to trigger the weekly signal. Now on the daily chart, here's what was the most interesting this coming week, right here. All right, so pop to the downside. So here you got a gap down, you pop it up. Outside bar down. This is a Momo down. Down Thursday they bought it right there. They gapped it down. Looked like all was lost, right? It's like all is lost because we're trading below the moving averages, and looks like it's trading to the downside now. But they bought it right there, right? They bought it back, came back into the prior week's day's range, excuse me, and now this has turned to a Momo down reversal signal, looking for that pivot high to get taken out. So it's already on its way. Let's see if we can take out last week's high now, and that creates the Momo down reversal like we just talked about on the weekly chart. Okay, so there you go. The 4-hour chart did it, on Thursday. I think it was Thursday where it did the Momo down reversal. Yeah, right there. Momo down, and then here's Thursday. Right there, the afternoon it popped up. It closed, had a red close though on the last 4 hours of the trading day on Thursday, but on Friday they bought it back, and it was a very strong Friday for the indices. Still though, you're not out of the woods yet. You got a lot of stuff that's still red month specifically, right? But you do have that green quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like that green quarter offsets a lot of things. If you don't see that the quarter's green, you're wondering like, man, this is going to be the end of worlds because it's an outside bar. Yes, but that's still right there. It's still outside, inside, and up on the quarterly chart. That still looks good. If you're like a really long-term investor, you want to put money into the market, there's nothing wrong with that chart yet, right? Now you break below that low there next quarter, right? Below Q3's lows, then watch out. Then you really need to watch out. For now, you're still staying above this broad information up to the upside on SPY. Again, we don't take action on a single bar. Okay, let's talk about Qs. Qs finally found a bit of a bump this past week. So on the high time frame chart, quarterly chart once again, we still got momentum going here. It's Momo up still, even after all that selling we had. I think Apple was down 20% at one point, but it's still this past month. But this thing's still going Momo up, so it's still going Momo up on that. We do have the outside bar now, and it did break the streak of green months. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green months in a row. We had a 6th month of higher highs, but it also then put a lower low in. So we got the outside bar now on the Qs. So this is the same across pretty much all the indices except for the outside bars, that is. But if you have an outside bar, you don't want to take action on that by itself. You need to see that confirmation bar because the Momo down is significant, but you don't want to get caught trying to anticipate that because right now the time frames are not pointing that way. So weekly chart, it's still Momo down the week. So Q's had a good some selling, selling in the past, a good bout of selling over the past few weeks. It's still Momo down, but the buyers did a lot to repair that chart. There's a lot of charts that look broken in some certain sectors and industries, but some stocks hit all-time highs this past week. And I'll show you one later. So Momo down that guy, but you got a green week that fixes a lot of things. So on the Q's chart here. Again, they put in a gap reversal like they did on the SPY right here on Thursday. Gap down, looked like they were going to turn the week red for a moment, but the bar stepped in right away. They took out that, came right back in the range, and this, once you see this, it's a good potential comes out the other side. This high here, this day's high, 272.40 is higher than that high, 272.34. See, that's 6 cents higher because they know that's the pivot to go after, right? That's the pivot. All right, so that's the pivot that they went after, and they took it out. Okay, so now let's go Dow chart. So Dow, same thing on the, do we need to go there? No, let's just go on the monthly chart. Yeah, so Dow, we are now, how far are we? From the close, we're about 8.9% away. So about 9% away from those all-time highs. And looking further and further away now. We got the outside bar. It did go inside bar reversal at one point during the week, during the month, excuse me. Well, that's not over yet, so we still got the outside bar. On the weekly chart, we got this scenario here. It's still Momo down, but they did buy it back a bit, right? So once again, we're going to redraw the range here. We're going to wait and see, can they extinguish this Momo down condition by breaking above this past week's high. Doing that fixes the chart significantly if you break above this past week's high and it keeps going. Not like this. If it does this, where it breaks above the prior week's high, it comes back in again, that's the potential for more selling. But if it breaks above there and keeps going up, then that's Momo up reversal, Momo down reversal will come back out there and then possibly to there. Okay, so there's your Dow. 2-day chart looks like so. Momo down still on the 2-day chart. Momo down. Looking again to see if we get, just like we had on the SPY, right? You get that inside bar reversal or not on the 2-day chart on the Dow. What's on the daily chart? It's already happened. You already got the Momo down reversal right here on Friday. Popped above there, came back up again, and still has some work to do to take out that high. But if it does, again, that triggers the weekly Momo down reversal long. Okay, Russell. Russell. What you got for us? Inside bar reversal short on the monthly chart, but the buyers bought it back. Look at this. It goes inside bar up and breaks below that low there. That's bearish, right? Issue here is that you have the quarterly open right there. You think they're going to defend it? Yeah, they did defend it, and absolutely they defended it. They stepped up and they bought it when they needed to buy it. So they defended that, and they didn't let this thing sink further because it could have come out the other end here had the sellers just basically overwhelmed the buyers. They did not though. The buyers definitely stepped up there and held that pattern. So again, you need to continue to watch for that. This coming week, this coming month comes back down, breaks below its low, it's coming out that other side. That's something you definitely need to watch for with Russell. I've been saying with the Russell, right? Like Russell's not being a good indicator of bullishness. So, I think it was 2 weeks ago I'd said, Russell was the strongest index that week. That's not a good sign, right? It's like, you do not want to have the Russell being the only index that's holding the sellers back, because that has not been an index that can maintain leadership for very long. So, we had the Momo down, reversal. That thing failed when they flipped it around here this past week. They came down, like you saw already. We touched that quarterly open and they defended as they needed to. And that was on Thursday, like we saw with the rest of the indices. They bought it in the depths of the sell-off. Came down here. There's your quarterly open, right? There's your quarterly open. They bought it back, right? They pulled back to the range, came back in there. That's a gap reversal, and then it hasn't gone very far yet. Look, that 200-day moving average has been holding. I held there. So, the Russell's not out of the woodworks yet. So that's one of the indices that's still potential for the sellers to come back up again if they can break back below this quarterly open, or when their time frames realign on Thursday, Friday this coming week, or the following week, if price starts to trade below that monthly quarterly open again, and that week also falls in alignment, watch out. You got full time from alignment back to the downside again on the Russell. So this could just be a small pop to the upside that needs to be sold off again. Again, this is why I've been asking and suggesting to be flexible here and not be too steadfast on the direction of things, because things are a little bit fluid right now, very, very fluid. TSX now, how are we doing on the Canadian side? We did get a bit of a bout of selling like we saw on the American side, but the ranges are very, very tight still, super tight on the TSX. So big picture is this one here. It's still doing the Momo. Outside, inside, and up. It retested that breakout area, the red line, right? So there, tested that red line. Bar stepped up again, still green quarter. Kept the quarter green, even though you got a reversal on the monthly chart. On the weekly chart, man, it's very, very tight stuff on here. But it did open up a bit, but it's very, very tight. And you can see that. That's how tight that stuff is on the TSX. It's you're kind of stuck between two different time frames. This is why it's such tight trading, right? Because you got the monthly open there, you got the quarterly there. This is what I mean by tight trading and chop when you're stuck when you have these mixed time frames. So this is the place where I would like not to do much until the market shows its hand. So on TSX, there you go. I think on the 2-day chart you might probably have an inside bar reversal that's setting up. Yeah, there you go. Just like the other indices, SPY and Dow have the same thing, inside bar down, and can you pop it back up again and keep this chop going until the new quarter. Emerging markets. Okay, this guy had been holding firm, but this week is actually underperforming. So now we finally break this nice 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess it's 5 green months in a row. This past month we did get that lower low now, but the quarterly charts looks okay. Look, it's outside, inside, and up. All right, outside, inside, and up, and it hasn't come back yet to test that red line, which is the quarterly breakout level. On the weekly chart, okay, there it is. So it's slowly edging its way down to the downside here. Okay, so it's slowly doing its thing to the downside. Quite slow action here. Not a lot to report on that EM front. The only thing you do have on this thing here is that on the daily chart, here's how you know how far it's going to go. You got Momo down still. So this whole week was basically a continuation of last Friday's move. This is outside bar, Momo down, 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 no higher highs. Now, this is a small gap reversal to happen here, a lower gap here. If the buyers can step up here now, then there's something that they might be able to do here in this coming week. But again, they got to take out a high first before you can extinguish that Momo down scenario, which shows you the sellers are still in control. Okay. Speaking of tight trading, how about TLT? Man, that thing is trading very, very tight. You know why? Because it's an inside. Yeah, it's an inside month. So inside month on TLT. On the quarterly chart, it did go inside bar and up on the quarterly, but it's back in the range again. So you're gonna end the quarter basically inside the range more than likely, right? So we're going to likely be inside of this range here going into the month of October. So outside inside, this makes it interesting in October, right? How does the outside inside break? Because we had that same thing here, outside inside. It broke to the downside, right, at the beginning of the year, and that was quite dramatic. And by the way, outside inside back here, and that was quite dramatic as well. So how does that play itself out? Okay, now tight stuff going on right now, right? So it's inside, very, very tight stuff playing out on the monthly chart there for TLT inside month. Not a lot to do here now, probably until that month closes out. Okay, how about what about gold? So gold has been very, very weak. So everyone's thinking that gold is going to be a hedge. Gold has not done a good job at hedging anything, not even inflation. So gold right now, you know, it's a pullback, but on the longer time frames, it is still in a large uptrend. So look, it's still Momo up on the quarterly chart. Again, the quarterly charts take some time to play themselves out, and right now we're still Momo up on that quarterly. On the month, that means you might have some pullbacks. So right now you do get that. You had that Momo up condition happening in the month of September here, but now you got a lower low. So I extinguished that Momo condition. We still got a green quarter, as I showed already. But the trading itself, you know, I think I was talking about last week about being able to visualize price without using time, right? So this here, this sequence, that's all inside that bar, right? So this, you know, this is consolidation. So the question is, how do you break outside this consolidation? And last week I did point out, you know, we have if you bring up something like a 2-week chart, you get that, right? So it was a double inside on the 2-week chart, and then this week, past week, it broke below that low there, and that's basically, you know, a breakdown of that pattern. It's a consolidation followed by a breakdown now, and so gold did see some selling this past week, and the gold miners got hit pretty heavily in the first few days of trading in the week. So gold right now, you know, that's how it's gonna probably close out. The month is to the downside. If they want to buy it back, they got to take it above that prior high there. They got some work to do to fix this gold chart, but on the higher time frame, you know, if you don't mind holding gold for a while, then certainly you want to be using this as a buying opportunity. But I think, you know, if you're more of a trader, there's going to be easier times to buy gold when you have time frame alignment on your side. Right now, it's a mixed bag, and that's what you're getting mixed. You know, gold's not running to the upside because the month is acting as resistance on the open, and the downside still right there as well. So right now maybe it was more short-term selling before the longer term kicks in again. Okay, what about digital gold, BTC? How's BTC going? We had a bit of selling as well happen to BTC at the beginning of the week, and then it firmed up in the second half of the week. So BTC, but if you look at the quarterly chart, and again, this is something that we do, but not enough people do it. Outside, inside, and up, that thing's still playing itself out, right? Still seeing if it can take out that area there, 13,174. I don't think it can, but again, I'm open to that possibility. On the 1 month chart, it is a down candle here, but they're buying it back right now. But it is a down candle creating a lower low. This is the first lower low we've had for several months now, right? So there's BTC, and basically all they did this past week, this past month here, is retested that red line. That red line is that quarterly breakout level, right? So if you look at that weekly chart now, bring it up here, they tested that breakout area, that red line. See that red line right there? 2 weeks ago, Momo down, they bought it. Now last week they did a Momo down reversal. Okay, and this week they did create a lower low, but look, they buy it back again. This area here is holding. The buyers are using this area to accumulate. And now if you get a break above here, this right now you have 2 trading days left for the week for gold. Trading back at Bitcoin trading at 1070 right now, 10740 right now. Excuse me. It's a shooting star, right? Or sorry, it's a bullish hammer. You get a break above this high here this coming week. We're still aiming for that there. Problems to get the monthly open right there. Maybe Thursday, Friday when they get that fresh month. That will make things a lot easier for perhaps digital gold to go back higher. Okay, but on the lower time frame, here is what we'll be looking at. All right, on the 2-day chart, right there. Inside bar, excuse me, for the 2-day chart. So this is going to take some time to close. another 4 hours, and now you want to see how that thing breaks. I'll be looking to see if I can get back into it again, but I'm wary of taking any longs with the monthly open right there. Better off trying to time things and getting the alignment when Thursday, Friday rolls around. We get that fresh month. Okay. Now let's do some some charts here in terms of what I'll be looking at for the coming week, some stars and dogs, and then we'll wrap things up. So for the coming week, here's things that are on my watch list. OSTK, this guy here has been doing some moves, and it did shake off some traders this past week when it popped to the upside and came back in again. Looks like it was going to come down again and break down when BTC started breaking down. But like you saw Bitcoin, they bought it back again, and now it's trading right back on the range. So how does it break out of this problem? We've got the monthly open right there. Maybe it doesn't break out until later on in the week or next week. Sale. It did a break to the downside, but they popped back up again. Now you get a break above this past week's high. It's an inside bar reversal. Perhaps again outside, inside, and down. The shorts who tried that move are got stopped out, especially if they take it above here. Then they're gonna go back for that pivot there. Sale, interesting one there. CTXS, I think it's it's a Momo down situation here, but they got double weeks of consolidation. Break above there once again. I don't like the monthly opens right there, and the quarterly opens up there as well. So you really want to see, if the sellers all of a sudden step up, that could be a good selling opportunity right now. To the downside if it breaks below this week's low. Marvell Technologies, triple inside week. Something's going to happen here. This thing's going to pop, and we're watching to see how that breaks that range. Marvell, easy pattern there. LVGO, maybe continuation move on this guy here. It did a Momo down reversal last week, and it's come back up still. Now it's Momo up. So LVGO, has potentially a lot more room to the upside, especially since you're getting close to those all-time highs. First Solar, man, these solar companies have been running, FSLR not being one of them. But you have names like CSIQ and JKS that have been on fire. FSLR not participating so far. Momo down. Okay, so how does it, if it goes Momo down and it breaks to the upside, maybe it plays catch up. All right, so watch for that. AMTD, Ameritrade, this guy here, outside, inside. And now you want to see how does this guy break. It's tight stuff though, right? You can see how choppy that's been for the past little while. Like all of this here is inside this bar. Okay, so that's basically, if you look at the monthly chart, it looks like this. Inside month and up again, but still inside this bar's range. The positive thing I'm showing you this is that there are no lower lows. Right, so this past month's low, even with the selling, did not take out August lows nor July's lows. So the trend is still higher even though it's super choppy. Okay, AMTD, watch to see how it breaks that outside inside. And a couple more. Tandem, another outside inside setting up, inside another outside inside. So this is going to be volatile. This is going to be nice to trade once it breaks out of that range. And just like I showed you with the previous chart there, the monthly chart, this is a nice trend. Look at the monthly chart, clean. All right, yes, it's a red month, but there's no lower lows. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of higher highs. So Tandem's still holding that, holding steady there. And if this pattern works, right, if it goes outside, inside, and up for this coming week, then this will mark the low of the month. All right. And one final one, Adobe, also an outside inside to watch for. How does this guy break? Especially if tech starts to rally again, like it's been doing the last couple days. This guy has the opportunity of breaking back to the upside again. A red month still, but again, same thing as the other charts. There's no lower lows here. We have not had a lower low since March when the sell-off, but they bought back right away in Adobe, right? So even though it's red month so far, higher highs all around. Okay, let's do a final stars and dogs, and then we'll wrap things up. So here's some names that have just been doing really, really well, and here's some names that have not been so well. Xylo, right? The real estate market in the States has been on rocket fuel, so Xylo going into highs. So this could be all-time highs. So this past few weeks pullback has been a blip for Xylo. You don't even see it. You had like a couple down days here, but they were still green, right? So yeah, Xylo getting close. I think it did hit those all-time highs. 102.05, 102.08. Yeah, so all-time highs hit on Friday. So there's Xylo. Look, Xylo put a really nice gap reversal right here. On Thursday, gap down, and then they bought it back right there. Came back in the range again, 95.88, and then pops up. Nice move there. Fedex. So again, the transports are doing pretty well. They're hanging in there. Fedex, look at that chart. That is a strong chart. The angle's getting a little steep though, so you do have to watch out for that. Just want to see something on the quarterly chart, monthly chart here. Yeah, because that's Momo up. You can see that. It's Momo up. It's come back out here, taking out that high there. Let's see, 266.70. So they're going for that pivot right there. You can see they're coming back to that range. Once you get used to these charts, you can just see by the angle of ascent and descent what they're going for. This is short covering. People who thought, that they were gonna, this thing was gonna go trade back to lower levels, they're getting stuffed out right now. Boom, come back here, took out that pivot high, the high taken out, 259.25. No, not yet. Yeah, not yet. So close though. So there's your Fedex. Now, yeah, a couple more names, and then we'll go to the dogs. JK Solar. I talked about this one already. We talked about First Solar. Look at this one, man. This has been going Momo, right? So this thing has been on fire. JK Solar. So Jinko Solar, that's blasting into recent highs. It could be all-time highs. No, not all-time highs. Is that all-time highs? Let's double check. Ah, close, getting close. So Jinko Solar, flying on all cylinders. And we'll do one more. Peloton. These work from home names have been working again. So Peloton, people worried about perhaps the second wave, whether or not it's here or not. And Peloton definitely the beneficiary of that, especially after this heavy selling that happened a couple weeks ago, right? Look, that was the end of the trend. They bought it back again, taking out those prior highs, stopping anyone who got short that thing too early. Names like Zoom too, all the names are still that are kind of the COVID names are still working. Zoom, Peloton, T-Doc. T-Doc is kind of consolidating, but you can see T-Doc has the potential here now to move higher. Look at that. Look at this chart. This is nice. Outside, inside. Momo up now. Did I talk about that one earlier? I didn't. But that's one that looks a lot like the I think it was the MTD chart, was it? No, the LVGO chart. Yeah, Livongo looks just like, they're very similar to that. Okay, let's talk about dogs now. No better way to end things by focusing on the negative. Let's talk about some of the dogs. Here are things that are not working right now. Revolve Group, RVLV. What's going on here? This is not rallying when the markets are rallying. So this is a red flag. Oil, definitely not rallying. So names like Halliburton, boy, these guys have been getting hammered for the past few weeks. Oil names are not the place to be at. If you look at the oil index itself, or the OIH, this is the oil services sector, man, getting smashed. Guys are, they're hurting. They're not in the right sector right now. It's not where you want to be putting your money. To the upside, anyways. If you're like shorting, this is not a bad place to go. Although you have to watch out for when it rips too far. Watch for the bounce and then reshort again. Like this is a look. Momo up move, inside bar reversal, back to the downside. Triple M, industrial name here. Look, lost its gains. It was actually doing pretty strong. A couple weeks ago, that's where it was at. Industrials were flying, hit the top of the Bollinger Band, and they faded off. Right, so there's your fade. And back to the downside again, to the downside. This creates a broadening formation. I don't know if you can see it or not, but that's your broadening formation right there. Question is, does it keep going? There's your broadening formation. Boom. Boom, like this. And then your broadening formation can do it like that. Okay, so there's your broadening formation. Okay, so, and a couple more names. Yeah, industrials. Here's letter X, same thing, right? Weakness. Bunch of people got long here. Hit the 200-day moving average, and they flushed it to the downside. Stopped everyone who got involved in this run. That was a nice run. They went, that was nice, but how about this? Boom. Yeah, two more names. Financials, they continue to get hurt. So I'm still short Citigroup, and these guys are going down. They might have bottomed here. This is a, well, bottoming is a strong word, but they may have found an intermediate bottom where we found some buyers. But names like Morgan Stanley, same thing. Yet we're having a couple green days there. All we need to fix, to get things worse again, is to break below that inside bar. Although this is far away. This is getting extended now, right? The angle ascent is deep, so you could not. This is not a great place to start a short, because it may not go very far before you have to cover. Now, if it pops back up again, and you're looking at the time frames and they're all red, there might be a chance to reshort here coming this week. If it pops up, especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. New quarter, Thursday, Friday, reshort, back to the downside again, possibly. Watching out for that scenario. And final one, regional banks. It's the same thing. Regional banks, they've been very weak, even weaker than those bigger banks. So, yeah, keep watching the regional banks for the weakness there. So, carry basically, a proxy for regional banks. So, that being said, that takes us to the end of this week's video. So I just want to say thanks again for tuning in and all the time that you spent. If you have any questions for me, head over to the blog, thetradingedge.org, where I'll be happy to answer any questions or And again, if I'll be posting, I guess, with a little less frequency in terms of the videos, but I'll be sharing pieces on the blog site, so head over there. And I just want to thank you for all the time that you've spent with me over the past 18 months. Really enjoyed doing the videos, but as all with all good things, sometimes you gotta take a bit of a break, so that you don't overstay your welcome. So hope you have a good trading week, a good start to the trading quarter, and I hope that you end the trading year strong. All the best. Stay in touch, and we'll talk to you again soon.